Entering the late stages of July, which brings us to Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts for episode 6 of the Monday Morning Manager Show. Right here before this one between the Firebirds and the Commodores. I'm Ryan Martin, joined alongside, as always, my first-year Commodores manager, Jarrod Saltalamacchia. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time, as always.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course, this game again on the road, which means we film before Game 34 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. So for a quick recap, we send it to William Rosen and Timmy Weiss to say what happens here between Orleans and Falmouth.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Alongside Timmy Weiss, I'm William Rosen. After the game between Falmouth and Orleans, Falmouth goes down 8-1 in a game where runs couldn't cross home.
Yeah, I mean, the offense continues to be a big struggling point right now for this team, Will. And they've only scored 3 runs in their last 3 games. The offense can't get runners in when they get them in scoring position. It's just a big problem that needs to be solved the rest of the season if they want any chance of getting into the Cape Cod Baseball League playoffs.
An off day tomorrow, you would expect this team to come out with some prowess after the off day.
I sure hope so. They really need to get it going really soon. It's their 5th straight loss, first time this season that has happened. So if you don't get hot right now, the burners need to be turned on. It's a season over if you don't get hot.
Right now, Falmouth out of playoff positioning, but let's see if they can bump it up after the off day.
Thanks so much, Timmy and William, who already know the result of this game between Orleans and Falmouth. Back alongside Commodores manager Jarrod Saltalamacchia. Coach, your first year at the helm. Kind of crazy to think there's only 7 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, it's the dog days of, I guess in the big leagues it would have been dog days of August, but, it's July. The last few games, 7 left. I mean, it's kind of crazy how this division's kind of panned out.
Yep.
We're 1 or 2 wins away from being second.
Yep,
We're in last place. So,
right.
Just got to keep grinding away.
You called it the closest race in the division that you've seen between your time in Bourne and Falmouth. It's still shaping up to be that way with August right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, minus Wareham, you could probably potentially have a 5-team tie for second place, which is kind of strange. But, we play each other at the end of the season. There's 3 games that, are really going to be important for us.
As the leader of this whole team, how do you manage that and talk to your guys about, it's so close, but all you can worry about is today?
It's tough because a lot of these guys have never been through it, college kids especially. So, just focusing on the little things, the little wins, the little victories. So we hit the ball hard, or we made a good play on the field or a good offensively, run the bases well. Just focus on the positives right now and just continue to grind.
Trying to find the positives right now for an offense that's gone quiet. And if that's happening in June, you could say it's wood and bats, getting used to it. You got a whole season ahead. But how do you manage that and those struggles with a postseason race and playoffs right around the corner, as you said, trying to battle?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where we find out who we are. I think last night, we scored 3 runs, but hit the ball hard, just right at people. We just couldn't find a way to get those guys in. Take away the 1 inning, and it's like a broken record. But take away the 1 inning, and it's a nothing ball game.
Right.
So, if I start to panic, then they're going to panic. So there's no panic going on. It's just go out there and play the game.
Pitching stepped it close, allowing 5 or less runs in each of those 2 losses that we just saw. What do you want to see change with this offense going forward and for the remainder of the regular season?
Well, the offense has carried us all year long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't want those guys to do anything differently than what they've been doing. Excuse me. I just want them to kind of focus on the small, the one pitch, not the bat, not the next at bat. My main talk with most of the guys is, in the big leagues, guys who have played a long time, the reason why they're so good is because they minimize those bad streaks. So if we can go ahead and make it a bat to a bat instead of game to game, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, it's the Falmouth offense that led the Cape League in home runs and runs scored for a majority of the regular season. A big reason for that was a consistent piece. You're a major league catcher yourself. Wanted to talk about Bear Harrison a little bit. And we're starting to see a bit more of a consistent bat with a change in catcher's room. What have you liked from Bear so far this season?
Bear's been here all year, so that's number 1. That's what I love about him. You don't see very many guys stay from the start to finish. And I think that's what you're seeing now is a lot of guys are tired towards the end of the year. So we're going to find ways to give them breaks. But Bear's been phenomenal behind the plate. He's been consistent with his receiving, his throws a second. At the plate he was hot, he struggled, then he got hot, then he struggled, and he's hot. So, just the consistency part of the thing is what, we're going to work on with the bat. But defensively he's been great.
From a larger scope too, you mentioned it's very rare to see guys here all summer. Is that the expectation that you had coming in after your time with Bourne, or how has that shaped up now with your first year in Falmouth?
Yeah, you're going to go through, the full 55, At some point, guys are going to either get drafted, their arms are going to get a little tired, they want to go home, something happens, personal life. So, it's always expected, so we always get the 55 roster on purpose so we can figure out who we're going to bring in, and then sometimes that changes.
Yep.
So fully expected it, and I'm not changing from anything we planned on doing from the get-go.
You've been ready for it, and part of that includes bringing in 2 new catchers in Eddie Yaman and Mason Eckelman. They come in after Mark Quattrani and David McCann depart. Again, you bring in this catcher experience. What have Mason and yet Eddie done to that room with Bears so far since getting to Falmouth?
Yeah, so both those guys are the focus when getting those guys in, Eck with being a left-handed bat,
Yep.
but also we have to be good receiving.
Yep.
That's number one. We have to receive the ball well, we have to block well, throw guys out, because that's the most important part of the game.
Yep.
Said from the start, pitching and defense wins games. So if our catchers are doing their job behind the plate, making the pitchers look good, whatever they do at the plate is just a bonus.
You mentioned bringing your major league experience and working on receiving with these catchers. What are some of the biggest things you notice in collegiate catchers nowadays with receiving that you really try to tweak based on your experiences?
Everybody varies. That's
Yeah.
the tough part about catching or coaching these guys out here is that some organizations love guys sit up right down the middle, high target, but then they work down and get underneath it. Some organizations are corner to corner, low target. Some are more talkative, some are less talkative. So it's always just trying to find what they're comfortable with without changing them too much.
Right.
Me personally, I like a guy that gives a real low target. He's able to move side to side, get the pitcher on the plate early, and then work away and in as he goes. But these guys have been great. I'm happy with what they've been doing. I think the pitchers have all been happy as well.
I say it's been a great room, and they've been catching a lot of new great arms that have come in. You go to the game yesterday in the loss to Wareham, but that was a game that was within reach because of Reese Markham with Jake Dorn. They gave 5 2/3 scoreless innings. What's been about these new arms coming in and becoming so confident with their pitching that's worked out?
It's tough. It's tough to come into a league that's such prestige.
Yep.
But come into a league with a new team, new catcher, it's even tougher. We always challenge these guys to throw strikes.
Right.
Throw strikes early in the count, weak contact. Don't pick. More pitches the hitter sees, the better the hitter becomes. And again, to your point, that's really tough on the catchers that I've never seen these guys. So it's really tough on both sides to understand and get to know each other. That culture's tough to kind of build that quickly, but they've been doing a great job.
Reese and Jake are 2 of just a handful of new pitchers that have come in mid-season. What have you and pitching coach Todd Carroll been looking for in these guys, whether they're playing in a different summer league or not playing at all? What were you even looking for to try to help out the staff with Falmouth?
Honestly, what it is, it doesn't. I've caught guys that have terrible stuff and do great. I've had guys that are ridiculously good and done terrible. So, I think the key is the mental side. You got to be mentally tough on the mound. You got to be not afraid. The body language is huge. Hitters feed off that stuff. So, pounding the strike zone early, down in the zone is always the most important thing. You can get quick outs that way. And like I said, it's time of possession. If we can get off the field as quick as possible, then our hitters have a better chance.
There you go. And then last one for me, 7 games to go, as you mentioned. Right now alone in 5th place in the West Division. What's the message to this team who's trying to make that playoff run? You mentioned it being so close.
Yeah, like I said, don't panic.
Yeah.
If they see me kind of worrying and doing a lot of different things, or having 15 meetings a day, then it's going to be kind of redundant and stupid. To be honest with you. So I'm going to try and stay even keel. I'm going to let these kids play the game that they've been playing their whole lives. They're good ball players, and they'll snap out of it. It's just a matter of time.
There's a reason why they're playing on Cape Cod as well. That's Commodores manager Jarrod Saltalamacchia for episode 6 of the Monday Morning Manager Show. The off day Monday, but then it's one last opponent in the East Division with the Commodores facing off at the YD Red Sox. That will happen on Tuesday. Again, Jarrod Saltalamacchia alongside Ryan Martin before this game between Orleans and Falmouth.